you and your party.
ChatGPT. Seriously. You were talking about Lee Kuan Yew, Bernie Sanders, and New Zealand. For Bernie Sanders, the average donation of $15 is what struck me, and that allows him to speak his mind. And the average donation of Move Forward Party was about 500 baht from the tax deductibles. So it's equally about the same level. Lee Kuan Yew, because during the Harvard Kennedy School time, Lee Hsien Loong studied there, Lawrence Wong studied there, and during a lot of, I think it was public speech class, like I got to get up and really practice speaking in front of the people. If it's a rally outside, you speak on a different level. If you're inside a room, then you speak differently. That's the practice that they had given. So they give me Ronald Reagan, JFK, Lee Kuan Yew, and Fidel Castro even. So various characters for me to study. So I had an opportunity to listen to remarkable speeches of former Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew also. In terms of deals of Langkawi and Hong Kong, honestly, I haven't talked to Kun Thanathorn about this. So I haven't asked him a question of what's going on or what happened to the sense. The third part was an accusation that we were soft on Kun Thaksin. So during it was not a no confidence motion debate, but almost equivalent to it. I think it was Kun Wayo. I'm giving you precise information to argue my case. That I think it was Dr. Wayo who had both the expertise in law and in public health, went through all the possibilities of all the doctors that granted Kun Thaksin the right to stay in police hospital for 6 months, as well as going through the prison processes of what had to be done in order for you to achieve these kind of things. We went through lengthy detail, more than an hour exactly of how this is unjust, how this is not a possibility. So if you follow Thai politics closely, and if you look at that debate by Dr. Wayu, you'll see that there's no deal. Opposition is opposition. And if you look at Wikipedia, you'll probably see that there's some personal connection between me and Kun Thaksin also. My uncle used to work for him side by side. I used to work for his father indirectly side by side at the Ministry of Commerce. But politics is not about personal. I was Xi Jinping when someone said this. I mean, when someone asks for a personal favor, the way you reply is that I still remember the personal favor. I'll return it when I leave the office. But I cannot give you a personal preference or a personal favor once in office. But when I'm out of my leadership role, I'll return the favor personally. So it was very clear to us, Kun Thanathorn being the same family with the current transportation minister, my last name, it's not going to make any difference because we're not linked just to him, but we're linked to 14 million votes. And we got to be able to separate what's professional and what's personal. And I had made my case clear during the debates before the people gave me the vote that reconciliation is very important and amnesty is needed in order to end this polarization of red and yellow color. But we got to do a couple of things that is different from the previous government. One is fact-finding. 2 is compensation. 3 is accountability, and then reconciliation, not the other way around. I mean, back in the days when you were still a journalist, I assume that there's a lot of studies about reconciliation by Dr. Kanit Nanakon, and now it's probably a document hanging somewhere, just like his book. Because, reconciliation follows fact-finding, accountability, a proper compensation, and then they can forgive each other, and finally reconcile as a society. Not having a playbook of what reconciliation is without telling the truth to the family what happened to his daughter or his son or his father. And you know, this brings me of what's going on at Tak Bai incident, 700 kilometers from here in Narathiwat. 85 people died 20 years ago. In 20 days, it's going to expire. And that should be the job of the judiciary branch, to return justice to the people. Just because they were outside asking for a release of 6 of their Muslim friends, and 7 got shot right on the scene, 70-something got carried during the logistics and ran out of breath. In 20 days, the case is going to expire. I think that's a quick blow to the justice system in Thailand. And that happened during the former Prime Minister Thaksin time. Yesterday, the MP was going all out on this situation. We are following closely. We are trying to put pressure that the general that was behind all these massacres is the 29th party list of the current government, Pheu Thai. So, we're not giving him an easy task. I mean, we're doing lots of things in the same time. We have some attention span that is used to fight 3 cases against me, from the defunct media share company ITV that closed down 17 years ago, where my father held 0.00005%. That took me out of the Prime Minister's election 1 hour before. We got to fight the dissolution case. We got to fight the freedom of assembly case, and also, provincial election and things like that. So yes, we are bombarded, but that doesn't mean that there's any personal favor or any lower standards for one person or one person. If we go through all that, fact-finding, accountability, compensation, and Mr. Thaksin returned to Thailand at the same time as all the people who went into self-exiled in Paris, in Kyoto, in Australia, in America, equally, that's the way he returns. Because 2 wrongs don't make a right. The way he exited Thailand was also wrong. And then I was trying to be the Prime Minister, and I told this to Kun Pathoktan, that what happened with your father and your aunt was not right. I want to return them the right way. And that's also ending a political conflict in this country also. So we're going to go through this process, and then we're going to have amnesty, and finally putting people back together, and people with different political thinking should not have to leave their motherland. And that's what we are trying to do, but unfortunately I couldn't deliver. And that's why, that's why we are seeing what we're seeing now. Yeah.
Okay.
Has its resistance to change, has its inertia, but then he wanted to make sure that it's peaceful and reasonable, and kept doing this. And hopefully that the frustration that is still there, the lingering frustration of the youth, the movement is, I believe, is still there, but hopefully that it's going to be outburst, it's going to be expressed explicitly in the voting booth. And I think that will be the way, the least costly, the least dangerous way to change. I still believe we have to go through a non-violent way, as well as coming up with new democratic playbook against smarter dictators.
Okay, we've come to the end of this event. Please join me in thanking Kun Pitha for joining us. We wish you the best of luck with your endeavors. Thank you very much, Dan.